One thing that has always stayed with me is a comment my sister once said about my ex. She commented that his eyes always looked as if he had no soul behind them. And I didn't know how to respond at the time, but privately, I agreed with her. I really did feel like there was no life, no remorse, no empathy behind his eyes. And there are so many moments that stand out to me, and a few in particular have never left me. And one of these moments was right after I suffered a head injury. Right after we moved to Florida, I suffered a massive head injury, and God, it took me about 3 months to finally get my vocabulary back, and I'm still not 100% from that head injury, and here it's been over 10 years. But I was struggling with the effects of that traumatic brain injury, and one day I accidentally placed a glass coffee pot, not just the glass, but the entire coffee maker, because I had to clean a mess. I can't remember why there was a mess there, but I did not realize that the stovetop burner had just been turned off, and it was still extremely hot, so that heat caused the glass of the coffee maker to shatter. And we were both, me and the narc, standing right there in the kitchen when it happened, and instead of any concern, he reacted by screaming at me and calling me an idiot while I cleaned up the broken glass. I felt really bad about that. I would say it was about a week, maybe a week or two later. It was on Thanksgiving. Just so happened something very similar happened to him, and he was preparing a ham, which was very unusual because he never cooks. He never did. Only on Thanksgiving he would make a ham. After taking the ham out of the oven to add more glaze, he ended up setting the glass dish on the hot stovetop. And I was outside at this very exact moment. I was with my babies, and I'm not sure if we had the chickens yet, but I know I was outside in our backyard, and I just heard this scream and sort of an explosion, like a huge just racket going on inside the house, and the dish had shattered. That's what happened after having contact with the top stove. And so when I walked in, my ex was standing there with blood on him. He had glass in his face, his legs, his entire body, and he was just in shock. And I remember there was a shard of glass that was really close to his eye, but thankfully he was wearing glasses, and he was very lucky that he was wearing those glasses. But I'll never forget that scream. It really scared me, and I rushed in there and I helped him. But as I was picking the small pieces of glass from his skin and cleaning up all the blood from the floor, and after he showered, I gave him Neosporin for his wounds. It just hurt my heart because I recalled how he had spoken to me just days earlier, the way he screamed at me, calling me an idiot for making a similar mistake with that coffee pot. I could never do that to a person that just had an accident. I couldn't be mean to him, and I chose not to say anything to him. But it stayed with me because there was a stark contrast. When I made a mistake, you know, his first response was to scream at me and insult me. And when he would make a mistake, I responded with care and compassion. And I always have. And that is something I will always continue to do. But that difference, it hurts. And this is the part of why the memory of his dead eyes affects me so strongly. He can fake his warmth and his energy, and he could fake his personality. People think he's outgoing and talkative, and that is false. He's not. He was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder and something called antisocial personality disorder. And being antisocial, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not at all. If you can do your research behind NPD and antisocial personality, you'll understand why these people are so energetic and nice to people on the outside. They're nice to strangers, and they love receiving attention and affection. And you like being around them because you think, wow, their energy is so great and warm, but you'll never understand what really happens behind closed doors. The mask is off, especially when he got angry and there's just a huge, empty, frightening void of empathy, and his stare was the most unsettling things I've ever experienced, next to his crash out that he had after I refused to reconcile with him. In the last couple of months, he's been quieter, I think, realizing that I'm not going to ever give him another chance. But yeah, those dead eyes, they're just awful to witness, and you'll know when you're with an evil person, they have those dead eyes.
An exercise you can do is you go up to somebody from an angle where they can't see you coming up to them, and you surprise them. You go, hey, Mike, whatever. They turn. For that second, their expression reveals how they really think about you. You can express a kind of, and they smile. You can see the little disdain in their eyes. Then the mask comes on. If you can just master the ability to detect the fake smile, it will go wonders for you, particularly in romantic relationships. So being able to see that they're not genuinely interested in you, that they're faking it, will help you avoid very toxic relationships. A narcissist, a toxic person, thrives by deceiving you with a charming, alluring front. But deep narcissists have dead eyes. They can fake the smile, they can fake everything else, but the eyes, you have to be able to read it, because you say, well, what are dead eyes? You'll know it when you see it. There's no life in them. They're like looking through you. They're not looking at you. They're looking through you.